live off my tips. Like I make like $5 just making a drive, and that's not enough to buy food at all, or pay for rent or anything really. So tipping is very crucial.
I work at a pizza shop, so honestly it's kind of important to always tip drivers, so that's how they make their money at the end of the day.
I'll leave a tip if the app doesn't put in a service fee that they don't get to their employees. So
that's why I tip mine. I feel like it's just kind of like a server. If they bring you your food, why wouldn't you tip them? Plus they're using gas in their car. They're putting miles on their car. So, and gas is expensive.
Well, I cook my own food, and and it's too expensive. I'm not gonna pay that much. I'll go pick it up.
The delivery fees are way too expensive, you're saying?
Way too, yes.
Okay.
Way too.
I used to DoorDash myself, so I was always relying on the tips, but I'm a DoorDash type of guy. If I'm getting food, I'm gonna get DoorDash.
When you were doing that DoorDashing, did you feel like the tips were comparable to your time and you were getting what you deserved?
Not necessarily all the time. Sometimes I was getting a lot less than what I deserved. Sometimes I'd get like 50 cents or $1, and I thought I should deserve a little bit more than that.
What makes you feel like you deserve a little bit more? What effort are you putting in that makes you feel like as a delivery driver you deserve more monetary value for your time?
Well, I feel like I was doing it for long periods of time, so like 8 hours I would be driving, so definitely have to pay for the gas. I would have to bring out of my own pocket the gas, and I wanted those tips to come in so I'm able to just pay for my gas and then also get money, for rent, etc. So definitely was relying on the tips.
We as a platform feel you should tip your delivery drivers like you tip your restaurant servers. How do you feel about that?
I feel like they should get tipped because I don't know, if they give good service especially, I feel like it's deserved.
What is good service for you?
Being respectful, I guess, actually caring about the job that you're doing because you did apply for it. Being timely with what you're doing, if it's a delivery or whatever it is.
Drivers.
Speak on it. We'd love to hear why you do tip your drivers.
Yeah, whatever.
Why not? We think they should be tipped like restaurant servers.
She'll tell us why she does, and you tell us why you don't.
I'm actually a driver myself.
Oh, for what platform?
I live off my tips. Like I make like $5 just making a drive, and that's not enough to buy food at all, or pay for rent or anything really. So tipping is very crucial.
I feel like they should be tipped because they're taking the time out of their day. Although it is their occupation, they're taking the time out to help someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. What do you think they could do to earn a better tip? Are there things that drivers do that make you feel like, oh man, they really deserve more monetary value for their time?
I feel like them getting out of their car, and walking it to your door. Although you can come outside and go to their car and get your food. So.
Okay, so there's some easy things they could do to make it more worthwhile.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of valid. I feel like they definitely should be tipped a little more, and I feel like it also depends on how far they had to go to get it, and gas and stuff like that, and how long they had to wait for the food and all that good stuff. So
I think that's understandable. I think that they should be tipped because you're driving however many distances to get someone's food over to them. So I think you should be able to get tipped.
All right. Is there anything a driver could do to maybe make sure they earn that tip from the customer? Is there anything they can do to go above and beyond to make the customer be like, oh wow, I should really make that worth their time?
The only thing I can think of is just good communication. If something comes up, just make sure you let them know, maybe if you'll be late or something like that. But other than that, I'm not really sure.
Tip drivers like you tip servers.
I mean, I'm in the industry, so I understand where people are coming from. I always tip 20% no matter what. So that's just me, my personal say, but a lot of people are not aware of their wage is usually really low. So that's what they literally live on.
Yeah, facts only. Mm-hmm. What do you so you say you tip 20% no matter what? Do you have times where the food gets dropped off and you're like, wow, they didn't deserve that 20%? Or is there something a driver could do where they did something out of this world and you're like, man, let me adjust that tip a little higher?
I used to live in a complex where like I had extra security, and so some people would literally leave my food outside the complex, and I was like bummed out, but I still always tip 20%. But if they came into my complex, like figured out a way to get in, then dropped it out my door, I always like usually gave them extra money.
I like tipping. I tip like $7 or so on DoorDash averagely.
Hell yeah. Do you what platforms are you utilizing? Only DoorDash?
Yeah, mainly.
Nice. Are there things that drivers can do that you feel like you get a little pissed off, like, man, they don't deserve that tip, or they do something where you're like, oh wow, I should give them a little extra?
We have a little table like next to our door, and I feel like a lot of dashers don't actually put the food on the table. Things like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's simple enough, just going a little extra effort. Okay. So we use the same independent contractors that utilize DoorDash, Uber Eats. Yep. So we're in the industry, and we just feel sometimes these drivers aren't given what they're worth, you know?
Absolutely.
We want to start a conversation about how you should tip your drivers, how you tip your restaurant servers.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree. I worked in the food industry. You know, I completely think, you know, delivery drivers are just like servers. You know, they're coming and giving your food, you know, it's just in a car. You know, that's the only difference, you know? So I completely agree with the statement. Absolutely.
Yeah, I use like DoorDash and stuff.
Hell yeah. Do you think there's things that drivers could be doing better to like showcase why they deserve more money?
I don't know. I never really thought about it like that.
Is there any time that you've had a delivery and you're like, wow, that driver really, like, they sucked?
Yes.
What did they do?
Just took too long. But that's okay, because I understand that it's like pretty hard sometimes to, you know, make or break that time-minute zone. You have to get the delivery by. Traffic and other weather conditions really suck sometimes.
Yeah, you seem like a very understanding human being.
I try to be.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think if you start tipping those servers, they'll take better care of your food. Plus, like, if I Grubhub some McDonald's, I want that stuff warm. Like, if they get that back quick to me, it's going to be warm still. You should probably tip them.
And you feel like the tip influences that performance by the driver?
Yeah.
Or do you think you should tip
afterwards? If enough people were tipping after, like, they received their food.
Okay, I agree. I like that. You got anything to say?
I think instead of expecting like so much that, you know, someone pays your workers on whether they deliver the food right or not, you should pay your own workers. I don't feel it's right that so much that like someone should hope that they get paid whether or not someone wants to tip them or not. I think like if you own the company and you're producing the profit, then you should make sure your workers are paid.
Hell yeah, I greatly appreciate that perspective. That's a great vantage point to have. Miss,
yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I typically tip the same I would in a restaurant, just because I know they're not making, you know, like a larger dollar amount. So I feel like tipping them is important. That way they're making enough money, you know, for their service.